loyal subscribers, and welcome if you are new. My name is Maddie, and this is my book nook. So it's been a little bit since I posted a video, but I had Christmas and New Year's and my birthday, so yeah. And I've also gone back to school, and everything's kind of been a little bit stressful. But I'm back, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my 2020 wrap-up and have all my stats from Goodreads 2020 year-end books, and then do my top 5 favorites of the year. So without further ado, let's get into it. So if you haven't been watching my recent videos, you wouldn't know this, but I have started using notes on my phone, so if you see me looking down a lot during this video, I will not just be looking at my statistics, but also my notes on these books, because when I get in front of the camera, I do get a little bit nervous, and all my ideas seem to just leave my head in my thoughts on the books. So I write them down before I film, and then I look through them as I go. So let's do this. Actually, let me grab my books down here first. Okay. Now, I will proceed. So, I use Goodreads, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people do, but, yeah. So, I read a total of 10,981 pages, and I read 30 books. So, the shortest book I read was The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell, and it was 48 pages. And the longest book I read was The Alice Network by Kate Quinn, and it was 503 pages. My average book length was 354 pages. My most popular book that I read this year was The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and it has 5 million people have it shelved. Sorry. The least popular book I read was Victoria and Albert, A Royal Love Affair by Daisy Goodwin, and someone else, I can't read their name. Oh, it says Sarah Sheridan, and only 3,000 people have that shelved. So, my average rating for 2020 was 4.2 stars. I feel like I do I'm not super critical, I give kind of generous ratings, so I'm not surprised that it's really high. And if I don't like what I'm reading, I'll just quit reading it and not give it a rating, so that would explain why. The highest rated book on my shelves that I read this year was Educated by Tara Westover, and okay, that's it. So, it said I gave a review, but I just put a specific star ratings as my review, so. Now I'm going to go through and tell you all the books that I read this year in order. So, the first book I read was, I'm just going to start and just keep going. So, Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate, Silka's Journey by Heather Morris, Educated by Tara Westover, The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold, or Sebold, or whatever. I'm so bad at names, so I'm sorry. The Alice Network by Kate Quinn, Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hesse, Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Neague, Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna, The Betrothed by Kiera Cass, Far from the Tree by Robin Benway, My Plain Jane by Cynthia Henn, Brody Ashton, and Jodi Meadows, They Went Left by Monica Hesse, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, Off Balance by Dominique Moceanu, Prisoner of Night Fog by Anne Blankman, yes. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, American Royals by Catherine McGee, Victoria by Daisy Goodwin, Night Road by Kristen Hanna, A Spark of Light by Jodi Picoult, The Paper Girl of Paris by Jordan Taylor, Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed, Fly Away by Kristen Hanna, All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban, Majesty by Catherine McGee, Victoria and Albert, A Royal Love Affair by Daisy Goodwin, Geekerella by Ashley Poston, Animal Farm by George Orwell, The Most Dangerous Game by Richard Connell, and The Wartime Sisters by Linda Cohen Loigman. Alright, so those were all the books that I read this year, and all my stats and stuff. I don't have super in-depth stats because Goodreads only provides that much, but I did recently download a new app called Storygraph, or it's a website actually, and it's supposed to, by the end of the year, give you all your different statistics by your most read genre and that kind of thing, so I'm looking forward to that. So, now I'm going to get into my top 5 favorites of 2020. So, I'm going to go from number 5 to number 1, and number 1 is going to be my favorite book that I read this year. So, number 5 on this list is Animal Farm by George Orwell. So, this is a classic. It was written in the 30s, I believe, and it is about these animals that live on a farm, and there's this old and wise pig, and he tells them that, man needs us, but we don't need man, and that we're just overworked, and we're kind of like slaves. So we need to have an uprising and take control of our farm and be our own government, and so that's what the animals do, and it's just about them and them kind of building their own government and the conflicts that they face as having their own farm and their own government and that kind of thing. So, and it explores like politics and different types of government in a authoritarian state, I believe. But yeah, and so my dad read this and he really liked it, so I wanted to read it, and I flew through it. It's a really short book. It's like it's only like 130 pages, I believe. Oh, I almost dropped it. And let's see. So I really enjoyed it. It is my favorite classic right now. I've only read 3 classics. I've read this, The Wizard of Oz, and To Kill a Mockingbird, which I did like To Kill a Mockingbird. It was a really good story and everything, but I just wasn't a fan of the writing, and I thought it was really boring. So this one, it was like surprisingly funny at sometimes, even though it was kind of serious because it was these animals and their government and everything, and I really liked a lot of the characters, so it was really good. So, and here's the cover and what it looks like. I have a bunch of books in my lap and they're all going to fall in a minute. So that was number 5. Number 4, I don't physically have it at the moment because I let a friend borrow it because she hasn't read it yet. So, and that is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy, and so it is a prequel. It is about the villain from the original Hunger Games trilogy, President Snow, and him as a young teenager in the early days of Panem and the Hunger Games. So it follows him in the 10th Hunger Games as he has to mentor the girl tribute from District 12. So this is the bookmark that came in the book. So some people didn't like this book. I really liked it. I don't know why. I'm not really sure why a lot of people. Well, like, I can kind of see why some people might not like it, because in order to have a story about a villain, you kind of have to make them somewhat likable, so you can kind of root for them because they are the main character of the story. But I really liked seeing Capital Life and the early Hunger Games. I thought it was really interesting, and it introduced a lot of new characters that I'd never seen before. I thought the one doctor in this book was very interesting and very evil. And I also really liked the girl tribute, Lucy Gray. She's probably one of my favorite characters from all of the Hunger Games books. So, yeah, I really liked that one. Because I also really love the Hunger Games, so. Number 3 is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Neig. So, or, I don't know how you say her last name, so I'm sorry if I say it wrong. It is about this family that lives in Shaker Heights, Ohio, or yes, it is in Ohio, and it's about this family, and they're kind of rich, and then these people, this struggling artist and her daughter move into I'm sorry, I'm explaining this very wrong. Okay, so they move into their duplex that the rich family owns, and they're renting it to them, and her daughter, the struggling artist, is the same age as one of the rich family's kids, and they all get to know each other, and it's just about like how their lives connect and like all the drama and everything. So I hope that was a good explanation. It probably wasn't, but oh well. So this was a lot different from anything that I've read before. Like when I was a kid, this is how I pictured adult books to be, but I really liked it. So it was very different. I flew through this because it was so interesting and so different from what I normally read. So it was really nice and kind of refreshing. So, and I had a lot more interesting things in my notes, so I'll just hurry up and say that because, you know. So I thought all the characters had really good storylines, and I liked how the story explored all of their faults. That was what I had in my notes, which sounds a lot better than what I actually said. So it was really fast reading. Number 2 is Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. So I was not expecting to love this book as much as I did. A friend gave this to me for Christmas last year. It was my first read of 2020, actually. And I, when you get gifts that you don't really want, you have to say, you want to sound nice, so you say thank you and everything. And I was like, I'm probably not going to like this book, probably never going to read it. But I read it, and it definitely was very good because I cried. I thought this was such a beautiful story, but like yet so heartbreaking. And it was about something from history that I never really heard of before. So it's about the Tennessee Children's Home Society, which ran in the 30s, and essentially they stole children off their front porches and put them up for adoption to profit off of them. So it is about this 12-year-old girl and her little siblings. They were stolen and they were put up for adoption, and it's just about her. She wants to find her, go back to her home and find all of her other siblings and make sure they get home safely to their parents. And it was just so good. I made my grandma read it because I wanted someone to talk to about this book. So it was so good. Really loved that one. Now, number one is my number one book. My favorite book of 2020 was Far from the Tree by Robin Benway. So this is about a teen girl named Grace, and she is an only child in her family. She knows that she's always known that she was adopted, and she loves her parents and everything. Everything's great. Until she wants to find out more about her birth mom and ends up finding out that she's a middle child. She has an older brother and a younger sister. And it's just about her meeting them, and it gives their perspectives. And it's just about them meeting each other, getting to know each other, and wanting to find out more about their mom. And all the characters were so amazing and so beautifully written. And reading the first chapter, I got teary-eyed because it just made me love the main character so much and care for her so deeply. And all these characters felt so real to me, and I felt so connected to them and their stories, and I wanted them all to have the best endings possible. So if you're going to read any of the books from this list, I implore you to read this one because it was so good. So yeah. Alright, so that was my 2020 year in books and statistics and my top 5 of 2020. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more of me, you can click the red subscribe button down below and turn on the bell so you'll know whenever I post videos. And if you would like to see what I'm currently reading, you can follow me on Goodreads at Maddie'sBookNook, or at Maddie'sBookNook, or you can follow me on Instagram at Maddie'sBookNook. Yeah, I got those mixed up. It's Maddie'sBookNook on Goodreads. I'm sorry, I'm a mess. This is my first video in a long time. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!